Our playoff march continues as the Leafs dethrone the Kings 3-2. Our playoff march continues!
Toronto Maple Leafs have named Dion Phaneuf the 18th team captain in Leaf history.
Leafs, beast in the East.
And the Leafs are rocking it out in the Music City. Oh man, that was great.
Leafs are kings of the ice, baby, yeah! Especially with the way that the Leafs were playing against the Los Angeles Kings on Monday night. With Reimer in net, and he was spectacular. One would say he was king of the crease that night. Anyways, in the first period, Reimer and the Leafs defense were holding off the Kings' pressure that LA was putting on them, although the Leafs did not get a whole lot of scoring opportunities. In the first period, Mike Commissar gets penalized for delay of game. Wayne Simmons sidesteps Phaneuf to score 1-0 for the Kings, and to make things worse, Grabowski gets penalized for hooking with 1:50 to go in the first period. But that's okay, the Leafs kill off that penalty, and Armstrong is back on the ice for the Leafs after taking a sucker punch from Ben Eager, who actually got a 4-game suspension for that punch. Anyways, he and Boyce are off to the races. Armstrong to Boyce. Boyce scores top shelf. It is a 1-1 tie, and Boyce gets his second career goal of the end of his NHL career. And just over 30 seconds after that, Phil Kessel scores to make it a 2-1 Leafs lead. And then, well, Jonathan Quick is down, but Thomas Cavalry gets an opportunity to score, but he shoots it top shelf wide of the net. And Wayne Simmons tries the same move on Reimer that he scored on him in the first period, but Reimer was prepared for him and turned him away, and Wayne Simmons left empty-handed. And the refereeing was absolutely horrible in the second period. The Los Angeles Kings got away with so many non-calls that would have had the Leafs on the power play so many times. Like example, Dustin Brown hit Phaneuf from behind. That's illegal. Dustin Brown also later hooked Armstrong. Illegal. And I think it was him who tripped Grabowski, and he didn't even have possession of the puck. And 2 referees were watching. What kind of referees did the Los Angeles Kings have working on the ice that night? I mean, it's like they're more like clowns than referees, because it seems like the officiating was more in favor for the Kings. I mean, why is that? Just because Gary Bettman's in attendance of tonight's game? Jesus Christ. I hope you guys are sent back down to the AHL or the Little League or something after that kind of game. But anyways, Jesus scores to tie the game at 2. And, well, the referees did get one call right. And unfortunately, Tim Brent's goal was waved off. After review, it looked like he did kick the puck in net. But that's okay, because the net was off its moorings, so the goal wouldn't have counted anyways. But in the third period, Tim Brent knees Jarrett Stoll and gets into a fight with Marco Sturm. Well, actually, Marco Sturm was the instigator of that fight. But he fought Tim Brent. Tim Brent beat him up, although the fight didn't last long. But Tim Brent was penalized for 5 minutes for fighting, same with Sturm. But Tim Brent was also penalized an additional 2 minutes for kneeing, and Sturm was penalized for the additional 2 minutes for getting the fighting instigator, and also a 10-minute misconduct. So that would have favored the Leafs, except as a result, it was a 5-on-5 situation, but that's okay, because later Nikolai Kuhlman quickly Cool Whips Quick, and the Leafs are up 3-2, and the LA Kings could not recover from that. I mean, Phaneuf was penalized for slashing, even though it looked like the referees kind of sort of miscalled that. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, the referees did get one penalty to the Los Angeles Kings for Stoll. I mean, the referees actually got one call right. Way to go, guys. You're learning something here. And the Leafs walk off with a win, 3-2 over the LA Kings. Wow. what a game from the Leafs defense and Reimer. They beat a really good Los Angeles Kings team. Yeah, I'll give them credit. I won't say that they're bad or anything. But the officiating was awful. But this is what gives the Leafs win tonight an even sweeter taste to it, because A, the Leafs were actually able to win the game despite the fact that the referees were working in favor of the Los Angeles Kings, or so it seemed that way, because the refereeing was bad. And the other reason is because we are now ahead of the Ottawa Senators in the standings. We had just jumped to 12th place, and Ottawa's going back down to 13th. You guys are now 5th in the East, Ottawa. The Senators suck. I mean, the Leafs have an extra win and an extra game in hand, so that's why we're ahead of the Senators in the standings. But my concern for tomorrow's game is that the Leafs played really hard, but I think they might be a little exhausted going into San Jose tomorrow night, so that is one of my concerns. I don't know who's going to be in net, whether or not it's going to be Reimer again or the Monster, but I'm sure that the Leafs are going to win because the San Jose Sharks have been having some goal-scoring problems of their own, so I still think the Leafs will be able to pull off a win and get 42 points and maybe pass the Florida Panthers on our way back up to a spot in the playoffs. And I can guarantee you this, the Leafs will make the playoffs this year. It's going to be between 6th and 8th spot, but the Leafs will still make the playoffs. So, until after tomorrow night's game or Tuesday night's game, whenever you watch this video, go Leafs, go! Oh, and I got one more thing to say to the LA fans. I know that my last video was posted on the Jumbotron at the Staples Center, so I'm going to say this. The Los Angeles Kings suck! There's something for your scoreboard or Jumbotron. But until after Tuesday night's game, go Leafs, go!